You ready? Hey, these should be some streamers shooting at you. Let's see what happens.
Hi, I'm Greg Meeh. I'm a special effects designer. The great thing about designing special effects and providing them, building them, for me, is the vast array of technologies and problem solving, and it's a huge, wonderful puzzle to try to figure out how to create as part of a larger entity, larger production. Rain, wind, fire, fog, explosions, shooting the apple off somebody's head in Addams Family. Our specialty has always been live theater. The huge challenge in live theater is making it the same every night, and you've got to do it over and over. It's got to be reliable. It can't take, you can't spend 3 hours setting up some special rig. On the other hand, you have a lot of time to try to figure out to start with and make it right. The chandelier on Phantom is a really good example of how a special effect event is just not one thing. It's a combination of many elements and many departments. The chandelier moves, it tracks down, it doesn't really move that fast. It has theatrical lighting on it that adds some texture. Little flicker candles in it blink on and off, like what's going on here? We have high-power xenon flash in there, which is like high-power photo flash that goes poof, 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 poof. And there's a pyrotechnic explosion in the floor where it hits that goes poof, puts up smoke and a shower of sparks. So it's all those things put together. I think I was first fascinated by special effects when probably I was 8 years old, and I went to a production of Brigadoon, and they had a scrim and a dry ice fog cover, and it transported me. It was magic. I did a lot of technical theater in college. Working in technical theater, I began doing more and more lighting design for small theater in Boston, Massachusetts. Then when we were out of work at the theater company, we'd work for the opera company, which was run by Sarah Caldwell. She loved to do huge productions, so there were a lot of battles and cannons and smoke events. That's where I really started doing special effects on a larger scale. We start the design process on a Broadway show in the best of worlds, early in the process with the director, with the set designer, with the lighting designer, and try to form a vision of where we're all going. If that vision involves fire, then we have to take a lot of things into consideration in all those departments, costume as well. What is going to be near the flame has to be fire rated in some way. Then we start dealing with theater owners, the infrastructure of the theater. For example, in New York City, you cannot have a flame or pyrotechnic effect downstage of the fire curtain. Once we find the shape of where we're going, then we can have a deeper discussion about what the technical equipment is.
Go ahead.
Inventing things is the most fun about this job. Research and development, you're trying to create something. Very often the literal or filmic vision of what you're trying to create is a dead end for a theatrical production. So we have to look for other ways, sometimes, hopefully, ways that are more interesting and involve the viewer in some way. I have been working on Treasure Island for at least 15 years. The sweet thing about it is we've developed simple things that work for the moment, that tell the story, that move the story on, and a lot of effect for the dollar. They're simple to do. Untrained people can run them. For Treasure Island, we do a version of the arrow in the apple. Somebody's standing against the mast and somebody throws a knife at them, and then the knife ends up sticking out of the mast just near his shoulder. We started dealing with firearms for for theatrical events. Actually, the first big one was Les Miserables, and we did all the firearms for the Broadway production and all of the national companies, and then we did Miss Saigon, which was a crash course in firearms and theater. Very interesting issues. You can't just take a gun and put it on stage for safety reasons, obviously, but in fact, the actors treat them in a way that many real firearms won't stand up to, banging them into the barricade in time to the music. Since we are licensed for full automatic weapons, but legalities and logistics of putting a full automatic weapon on a Broadway stage are prohibitive. I love to figure out how to do some wacky thing that nobody has ever done before. That's the most fun part of it to me, is figuring it out and building up the prototypes. And another part of it that is really fascinating to me and is really challenging is figuring out with the other members of the creative team how to tell the story, create the emotion to make a meaningful experience for your audience member is fascinating and hugely rewarding when it works.